My daughter demanded I pay for her dream vacation because it's a parent's job to give their kids everything. When I refused, she booked the trip on my card and smirked, "Too late, you can't cancel now." My phone pinged with a $10,000 charge as I called my bank and said, "Then let's see who's actually taking a trip to court." I'm a 48-year-old single mother living in the suburbs of Chicago. My daughter, Jessica, is 22 and has always had a taste for the finer things in life. As a mother, I've done my best to provide for her, but there are limits to what I can afford. One chilly morning in March, Jessica approached me with an excited gleam in her eyes. "Mom, I've been dreaming of this vacation to Hawaii for years. It's a parent's job to give their kids everything, right? I think it's time you pay for my dream trip." I was taken aback. "Jessica, I understand you want to go, but a trip to Hawaii is expensive. I can't afford that right now." Her face darkened. "That's not fair. Other parents do this for their kids." "I'm sorry, but we have to be realistic about our finances," I replied gently. Jessica stormed off, leaving an air of tension behind. I thought that was the end of it, but I was wrong. A week later, as I was checking my emails, my phone buzzed with a notification. My heart sank as I read it, a $10,000 charge to my credit card for a luxury resort in Maui. Panicked, I called Jessica into the room. "Did you book a trip to Hawaii using my credit card?" She smirked, arms crossed. "Too late, you can't cancel now." Furious and betrayed, I immediately contacted my bank to dispute the charge. The representative informed me that since it was my daughter who made the purchase, it would be challenging to classify it as unauthorized. They suggested resolving the matter personally or seeking legal advice. Feeling cornered, I knew I had to take action. I couldn't let this slide. It was more than just money. It was about boundaries and respect. The next day, I sought legal counsel. The attorney explained that while it was a delicate situation, I had grounds to take legal action against Jessica for fraud. The idea of taking my own daughter to court was heart-wrenching, but I saw no other way to make her understand the gravity of her actions. When I confronted Jessica with my decision, she laughed. "You're really going to take me to court? Your own daughter." Tears welled up in my eyes. "I don't want to, but you crossed a line. Actions have consequences." The legal proceedings were grueling. Family members took sides, and the community buzzed with gossip. Jessica's defense painted me as an unsupportive mother, while my attorney highlighted the breach of trust and financial strain. After weeks of back and forth, the judge ruled in my favor. Jessica was ordered to repay the $10,000 and attend financial responsibility counseling. The aftermath was painful. Our relationship was strained, and trust was shattered. Jessica moved out to live with friends, and we had minimal contact. Months passed, and one day, there was a knock at my door. Jessica stood there, eyes downcast. "Mom, I'm sorry," she whispered. "I didn't realize how much I hurt you." Tears streamed down my face as I embraced her. "I love you, Jessica. But trust has to be rebuilt." Our journey to reconciliation was slow and fraught with challenges. We attended therapy sessions together, working through our issues. Jessica took on a job and diligently repaid the debt, showing maturity and responsibility. Through this ordeal, we both learned valuable lessons about respect, boundaries, and the importance of communication. Our bond, though tested, emerged stronger, built on a foundation of mutual understanding and love. Things didn't stay quiet for long. After Jessica started paying off the debt, I thought we were finally moving in the right direction. She had picked up a part-time job at a clothing store downtown, started paying rent to her friend she was staying with, and was even making progress in therapy. But then I got a letter in the mail from a collection agency. My heart dropped. It was another credit card under my name, one I hadn't used in years. The balance? $4,700. All recent charges. I called the company immediately, asking for details. The purchases were for clothes, electronics, spa treatments. All in Chicago. The billing address matched mine, but the email linked to it was not mine. It was Jessica's. When I confronted her about it, she didn't even deny it. She just looked me dead in the eyes and said, "I needed it. You don't get how hard things are." I was stunned. "You're still stealing from me." She got defensive. You have credit. I don't. It's not like you're starving because of it. You always bounce back. I wanted to scream, but instead I said nothing. I walked away and locked my bedroom door. I sat on the edge of the bed, shaking. I had taken her to court once already. Doing it again? I wasn't sure I could. The next day, I froze the card and filed another report. This time, I didn't tell Jessica. I let the investigators do their job. Meanwhile, word got around again. Somehow, people in the family started messaging me cousins, my sister, even my ex-husband's sister, who I hadn't talked to in years. Most of them said I was being cruel. That she's just a kid, and you should help her, not punish her. I snapped at one of them and said, she's 22. She knows right from wrong. This isn't a mistake, it's a pattern. My sister told me to calm down and be the bigger person. A few nights later, I found out Jessica had lost her job. Apparently, someone came in asking about fraud and her manager got spooked. I got a nasty voicemail from her, crying, yelling, accusing me of ruining her life. She said, "You're the reason I can't get ahead. You've always held me back." I didn't respond. I just sat there listening to her words over and over, wondering how the girl I raised turned into this. 3 days passed. Then I got a call from the police. Jessica had been caught trying to use a fake credit card at a department store. She was being held at the station. They said she gave my number as her emergency contact. I showed up, numb. She looked terrible. Her makeup was smeared, her eyes red. She didn't say anything at first. Then, she whispered I messed up. I didn't say I told you so. I didn't say anything. I just signed the paperwork to release her. But as we walked out, I said, "You're going to rehab. I'm done watching you burn everything down." She didn't argue. That night, I sat in the kitchen staring at the table, replaying every moment since that first Hawaii trip. This wasn't just about money anymore. Something was broken. And I wasn't sure how to fix it. I started making phone calls. Lawyers, counselors, programs. If she wanted help, I was going to give it one last try, but on my terms. No more stolen cards, no more guilt trips, and no more silence. But just when I thought things were heading toward rock bottom, another twist came. A letter from my insurance company. Jessica had opened a claim under my health insurance. Mental health treatment, yes, but without telling me. And the dates didn't line up with the therapy she said she was going to. I called the clinic listed. She hadn't shown up once. I realized she was scamming the insurance too. That was the moment something inside me snapped. This wasn't just a lost young adult making mistakes. This was someone who saw love as a weakness. And I was her easiest target. I made one more phone call. This time, not to her. Not to my family. To the fraud division at my insurance. Things were about to get even uglier. A week after I reported the insurance fraud, I came home to find my front door open. Nothing broken, no sign of forced entry. But the door was definitely wide open. My heart started racing. I stepped inside slowly, looking around. At first, everything seemed normal. Then I walked into the living room. The photo frames were smashed. My laptop was gone. The jewelry box my mother left me was empty. I ran upstairs, my safe was open. I had hidden a few hundred in cash there, and it was all gone. The only person who knew that combination was Jessica. I called the police immediately. They came, took statements, dusted for prints. I didn't even need to say her name. The officer glanced around and said, "Any reason someone close to you would do this?" I nodded. That night, I got another voicemail. "Jessica, if I can't get help from you, I'll help myself. You owe me that much." I didn't cry. I didn't even get angry. I just saved the voicemail and sent it straight to the detective on the case. The next day, Jessica texted me from a new number. She said she was sorry, said she didn't mean to scare me. Said it was a mistake. Then she begged for money. Just a couple $100 to figure things out. I didn't reply. Instead, I talked to my lawyer again. We'd already gone to court once, but this was different. This was theft. Breaking and entering. Insurance fraud. Identity theft. It was piling up. My lawyer advised me to file for a restraining order while the investigation continued. It felt so wrong, taking legal steps against my own daughter. But everything I'd done up to that point was to protect her, to give her chances. Every time I looked away, she dug the knife deeper. 2 days after filing the restraining order, she showed up at my job. I work at a public library near downtown. She walked right in, mid-morning, stood by the front desk and waited until I looked up. She was pale, thinner than I remembered, wearing old clothes that looked like they'd been slept in. I stepped back. "You're not supposed to be here," I said. "I just want to talk," she pleaded. 5 minutes. I didn't get a chance to respond. Security walked her out. I didn't even ask them to. One of the librarians had already called them. That same night, my phone buzzed again. It was a message from an unknown number. A photo of me, taken that day from across the street. Then another. And another. I filed a police report immediately. Harassment. Violation of the restraining order. They added it to the growing case file. A few days passed without anything. I started to breathe a little easier. Then a letter came in the mail, certified, with my name spelled perfectly. It was a notice from a law firm. Jessica was suing me for emotional distress and neglect. My hands shook holding the paper. I read it 3 times. She claimed I ruined her life, isolated her from family, and created a hostile environment that caused her to suffer mental harm. She was asking for $50,000 in damages. I laughed. Then I cried. She was really doing this. She was turning everything around, painting herself as the victim again. And I had to lawyer up, again. The trial hasn't started yet. But the depositions already turned ugly. Jessica sat across from me, stone-faced. Her lawyer asked if I'd ever emotionally abused her, if I controlled her with money, if I sabotaged her career and independence. My lawyer cut in, but the damage was done. Jessica didn't even flinch. She stared at me like I was nothing. I don't know where this ends. The theft case is still open. The restraining order stands. Now I'm being sued by my own daughter after she stole, lied, and nearly destroyed me. But I'm not backing down. She made this bed. And for once, I'm not going to be the one fixing it. The court date for Jessica's lawsuit came faster than I expected. I spent days prepping with my lawyer, reviewing every receipt, every message, every voicemail and photo. I brought boxes of evidence, credit card records, police reports, witness statements. It wasn't just about defending myself anymore. I wanted everything on the record. I wanted the judge to see the full picture of what I had been through. Jessica walked into the courtroom in a blazer that still had a security tag hanging off the back. She didn't look at me once. Her lawyer painted her as a troubled young woman abandoned by a cruel mother. He used words like emotional damage, toxic environment, neglect. I could see a few people in the courtroom buying into it. That stung. When it was my turn, I didn't hold back. I told the truth, slowly and clearly. I told the judge about the stolen money, the fake insurance claims, the burglary, the stalking, the restraining order. I played the voicemails, showed the photos she took of me from across the street. I even showed the court security footage of her confronting me at the library. Then I did something that surprised even my lawyer. I admitted I made mistakes too. I told the court I enabled her behavior for too long. That I made excuses, bailed her out, let guilt make decisions for me. That I didn't protect my own boundaries because I thought love meant sacrifice. And I said that by doing that, I didn't teach her accountability. I taught her that I'd always clean up her mess. There was silence in the room when I finished. Jessica finally looked at me. For a second, I thought I saw something break in her expression. But she quickly looked away. The judge dismissed her case. Said there was no merit and, in fact, there was more than enough evidence to escalate the criminal side of things. The state picked up the fraud charges. Insurance fraud, credit card fraud, identity theft. The burglary case went forward too. My daughter was officially facing multiple felonies. I didn't go to the next hearing. I couldn't sit through it again. I heard from my lawyer that she pleaded guilty to a few charges to avoid jail time. She'd serve 6 months in a correctional rehab program, followed by 2 years of probation and financial restitution. She has to pay me back every cent. The court ordered it. They garnished her wages before she even had a job. I thought I'd feel relief when it ended, but I didn't. I felt empty. I sat alone in my house for a long time after the ruling. I didn't celebrate. I didn't cry. I didn't sleep. I just sat there thinking about how far we had fallen. And then I did something petty. Something I don't regret. I posted the whole story online. Every detail, every receipt, every lie. I didn't use her full name, but I made sure anyone who knew us could connect the dots. I didn't write it for sympathy. I wrote it for the other parents out there, the ones still walking on eggshells around their adult children. The ones scared to say no. The ones holding everything together with silence and guilt. The post blew up. Thousands of comments. Some called me brave. Some called me cruel. But one message stood out. It was from an old friend of Jessica's from high school. She wrote, "I tried to warn you years ago. She's been like this a long time. You just didn't want to see it." She was right. I didn't want to see it. I kept thinking it was a phase. That love would fix it. That she'd grow out of it. But some people don't grow out of it. Some people grow into it. A month after her sentencing, I got a letter in the mail. Handwritten. It was from Jessica. Inside was one sentence: "You'll regret this." No apology. No reflection. Just one last shot. I burned it. And for the first time in years, I finally felt peace. The house is quiet now. My bank accounts are locked down. The cameras are up. The locks are changed. And I sleep better. Because this time, she doesn't win. Not anymore.